Hey, Chris Johnson here. Have you ever been in a situation where you don't really know somebody that well, but there's a card going around for that person and they ask you if you want to fucking sign? I feel like you almost have to sign whatever the fuck it is in that situation. Because if you don't sign, then you look like an asshole to anybody who's like overhearing it. I've been at my new job for about 2 months. And people are always fucking shifting around. They're going from one clinic to the next. They're getting promoted. They're moving on. All kinds of shit. Stuff that me being there for 2 months isn't fucking worried about. And if I'm being honest, I never think about any of that shit fucking anyway. I've never at any job I've ever been at thought like, you know what? I want to move up. I'm going to travel from place to place and advance my career. I just don't think like that. Like in radio and broadcasting and shit, a lot of people do that. I've known plenty of people who have done that. They'll go to fucking Pittsburgh or fucking Milwaukee. They'll go to bigger markets. I don't give a baker's fuck about any of that. My thought process is always like, shit, I'm on the air here. I'd rather be on the air here at my fucking home with like anybody I give a shit in this area than in Frog Balls, Idaho, talking about God knows what. I've never had that mentality. I've never really been like career focused or career driven or any of that shit. Somebody said to me one time, I don't even remember how the fuck it came up in the course of the conversation, but they were asking me about something like that. And I was like, I don't give two fucks. I just want like a job. And they were like, you know what, Chris Johnson, you strike me as the type of person who works to live instead of lives to work. And I thought about that for like 5 seconds and I was like, yeah, I guess. I just don't give a shit about like my career. And I'm not saying that like I don't care about the jobs that I've had or that I don't like work hard at the job or like even care about it. You know what I mean? Like I want to do a good job at any job that I've ever fucking had. But like I've never been like one of these assholes that like wants to climb the corporate ladder. Or like, you know, you hear those stories about people who are like putting off having kids or families or dating because they want to advance their career. I don't give a shit about that. Advance it where? I'm still going to be the same asshole. Like, what, am I going to get a bigger office? I got to wear a fucking like suit and tie to work? You know what I mean? I just don't give a fuck. And if I'm being totally honest with you, I have no fucking idea how I got sidetracked on that rant that started with me asking if you've ever signed a fucking card for somebody that you didn't know very well. So let's get back to that. It'll be a huge fucking surprise when I edit this, how I came down this road. But back to the original point. But at my place a couple months, people are always moving around. Oh, holy shit, that's how I did it. I fucking remember. People are always moving around from place to place. And like there was a counselor at my job that got a job at like a different clinic in the company. I think it's like a promotion or some shit. I know, I was told, I read about it. But if I'm being honest, I don't really know what position you've had. I don't know how long you had it there. I don't know the names of these positions. I haven't been around long enough for any of this shit to mean fucking anything to me. But hey, good luck. I'm glad that you're happy. She seems excited about it. But a card was going around for this individual because everybody fucking loved her. And they were like, hey, Chris Johnson, do you want to sign this card for our soon-to-be former colleague? I was like, yeah, sure. And then as soon as I took the card in my hand, I thought, the fuck am I going to write on this goddamn thing? This counselor fucking years from now is going to look at this card and see my name, Chris, and think, who in the absolute fuck is Chris? Chris who? They're not going to remember some asshole that they spent 2 months with. They've been at my clinic for like 8 fucking years. I've been there for a cup of coffee. There is zero chance they're going to remember who the fuck I am. So then I thought like, well, fuck. If they're not going to fucking remember me, I might as well write something on this card that I'm going to think is hilarious. And I picked a section of the card like in the corner, right? So I'd have a very limited space to write. You know how that game goes when you're signing yearbooks or anything, autographs. If you sign like at the top, there's no end space and you can be writing fucking forever. But if you write that person's name on a card like in a corner, you only have space for like a few words or a few fucking lines. So I wrote their name and then I wrote 3 question marks. And then underneath that, I wrote 2 question marks. And then I wrote Chris. And I thought that was the funniest goddamn thing I had ever fucking seen. And I didn't fucking say anything about it. I closed the goddamn card. I handed it to the fucking person. And nobody has said a fucking word to me about it since. Nobody who signed it afterwards. The person who got the card didn't fucking say anything about it. I just fucking did it and fucking radio silence. And then I started thinking like, well, goddamn, like, yeah, I'm amused by this, but I gotta fucking tell some people about it. So I'm shooting out text messages to like just a bunch of random assholes like, hey, this is what I fucking did. Like, how awesome is this shit? I pick my fucking audience through these texts, so I know they're gonna get a fucking kick out of it. You know, it just gives me a little fucking boost. Like, they think I'm fucking awesome, you know. I did tell one person at work, I was like, hey, you want to know what I wrote on their card? And I told them, and they were like, what? And then I just stopped telling the story, because I was like, I gotta give people Chris Johnson in small doses. They don't realize I'm a huge antisocial dick yet. They're starting to learn. Like, it's getting there piece by piece. Maybe I'll fucking drop a dickhead comment here and there that somebody will laugh at. But you can't just go, like, full Chris Johnson right away. I just love the idea that, like, years from now, this person's going to have a fucking card. They're going to look at it, and they're going to see this a bunch of question marks. Like, I literally wrote question marks. I wrote 5 question marks, like the fucking Riddler, or like that Matthew Lesko guy. Is that his fucking name? You remember those fucking infomercials from like, it had to be like the late 90s, I think, maybe early 2000s? This dickhead would walk around with all these question marks, and he was on like the fucking National Mall of DC, and he'd be like, we got these programs and you get the money. I guess he wanted you to buy his book or something. I don't even know what those fucking ads were for, but he was an asshole. Any infomercial person is probably a fucking asshole. But if you paid me enough money, I'll fucking do an infomercial about fucking anything. Whatever the fuck you need me to fucking sell, I will fucking do it for money. I will advance my career by being a fucking whore. Anyway, I will be back Sundays and Wednesdays as new podcast episodes come out. Podbean is the host of the cast. Every fucking episode is there, but I'm also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Pandora and iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. Wherever the fuck you want, it'll fucking be there. I am on Instagram. That is at maybe the number 5 minutes. Twitter and Blue Sky. That's at Johnson Hates You. And if you're in the Facebook, that'll be right in my timeline.